Good afternoon. The All India Congress Committee has met today and it's still on and over in what I would call the most trying and difficult circumstances for that party. At a time when there is a string of scandals coming, at a time when the entire nation is waiting to hear and what level of corruption would bring in a sense of outrage in that party, what have we heard from the three eminent speeches? We have heard complete silence on corruption. At a time when the party has so much to answer, especially on denying war widows their due, the party chooses to remain silent. Can there be a greater outrage than this? Can there be a sense of timing when the party chooses to remain silent? We know already this year, 2010, we have been speaking not of small-time corruption. We've been talking of 70,000 crores, 68,000 crores, 38,000 crores. You know the connections. 2G spectrum, Commonwealth Games, all ranging in several tens of thousands of crores. No sense of outrage. Not a word then, not a word when a formal meeting of the All India Congress Committee takes place. Can the nation choose its time, or can the party choose a better time to say what it feels on corruption? I am tempted to say that on the dais of the All India Congress Committee, where you've seen eminent leaders like Babu Jagjeevan Ram, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, Lal Bahadur Shastri, today we are seeing leaders who are tarnished in such a big way in scandal. And even then, the party president does not utter a word on corruption. Has the Congress party become indifferent to corruption, or has it become completely neutral to corruption? How can, I understand the party is holding its All India Congress Committee's meeting in very trying and difficult circumstances. But can you afford to remain silent on it? Is it not appropriate for the president of a party who has received the resignation letter of a chief minister of a big state where it is in power, Maharashtra, and is probing into the matter as though it is a party disciplinary matter and not a matter where the war widows' lands have been usurped by its own leaders? A probe, we understand, is on. Appointed senior, very senior respected leaders of the Congress party are looking into the corruption or charges on Adarsh Society scandal. Is this just a party indiscipline matter, or is it a matter where a constitutional head of one state, Maharashtra in this case, has been charged by several forums, by media, by parties, political parties, opposition, with papers in their hand showing the evidence, and even then resignation is not instant, resignation is not demanded, resignation is not accepted immediately. We are looking into it. It is not a party indiscipline matter, it is a matter of serious national concern. Has the Congress party completely become neutral to corruption? The other issue on which, again, the party's tactics of diverting public attention using any other lesser important matters or any other issue to divert the public attention has become a particular tactic of the Congress party. Divert public attention from serious issues where they are expected to give an answer. That's exactly what has happened again in the three eminent speeches which have happened in the All India Congress Committee today. Speaking of terror links of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh at a time when they probably will also have to introspect that it was a minister in Gujarat, a Congress minister, who was convicted of links with terror groups, Mr. Mohammad Surti, and a corporator in Gujarat who was also charged and convicted for terror. The party has had associations, alliances, and links with parties which have been in various parts of India, whether it is Coimbatore blast or in Kerala, continuously maintained links with terror groups. They are in alliance with them. Their own minister in Gujarat has been charged and convicted of terror. And today they are searching for alibis to link a nationalist, nation-building organization and its terror supposed links. Diversionary tactics is what today the Congress's All India Congress Committee's meeting stood out for. Diversionary tactics. Yesterday's comment and observations by the Home Minister, P. Chidambaram, related to a changing agenda for Jammu and Kashmir. Is the agenda changing for the better or for the worse? Are we trying to change the agenda by attempting to loosen the constitution in order to accommodate Azadi aspirations? And if that is going to happen, is that helping J&K integrate better with the country, or is it going to be for the worse? I think it's very important that we understand the significance of the statement made by the Home Minister, and in that context understand also the comment that is made that a ball-to-ball commentary need not be taken up by the interlocutors. Wasn't that exactly what was our point of view, the BJP's point of view, that the interlocutors go there, talk to all sections of Jammu and Kashmir, come back and report to the people who have appointed you? I'm glad that the Home Minister has said that in so many descriptive words. The interlocutors will have to succeed, but by not talking repeatedly on a daily basis. And that's exactly what the BJP had said, and I'm glad the Home Minister has taken cognizance of it. Thank you.